At what seemed like light speed, I was instantaneously transported back from the vast expanse of my own imagination to the narrow mediocrity, mundanity of the classroom. I remember being probably around 11 or 12 years old, and out of nowhere, Mr. Price came up from behind me and he slammed me upside the head and said, "Focus!" Well, you can't get away with that anymore. However, we do know that to reach our goals, well, maybe it is important for us to narrow our focus. Although that is true, I've become increasingly curious as to whether it's always true. Just for a moment, I want you to consider if being focused actually comes at a high cost. A cost that, ironically, might actually get in the way of you reaching your desired goal. What I'm asking you to consider is if it's possible that narrowing your focus may actually be a double-edged sword. Yes, of course, it allows us to specifically go after what we want and maybe even attain that. However, narrowing our focus also means we have to narrow our experiences. And the very nature of narrowing our experiences limits our understanding of anything outside of that experience. Thus, we become less empathetic, less compassionate, and we're actually more susceptible to being manipulated. Hence, we begin to really understand the term narrow-minded. This means that as a society, we readily honor the most successful, not only as heroes, but maybe as authorities. Could it be that this means that we've been listening to certainly the most focused, but maybe we've been listening and influenced by not only those who are focused, but those who are narrow-minded? Those whose lives maybe have great success, but maybe very little depth of meaning. You see, living in a deeply meaningful life requires us to tap into a continuous state of ever-expanding curiosity. It gives us the power to mediate the crevices between, which can be massive, between the subjective and even acceptable truth to the yet unknown truth. But to do this takes great courage and it takes great discernment, because when we choose to tap into that continuous state of ever deepening curiosity, we must let in what we might have automatically dismissed. We must entertain the possibility of a universe of understanding that far exceeds our previously accepted reality. In such a moment, the ungrounded and unprepared mind, it could teeter on the edge. An edge where the lines between truth and lies, between sane and insane, not only become blurred, but maybe even crossed. You see, I put it to you that there are two very specific different kinds of focus. So let's use the example of narrowing our focus to be laser-like focused. We've all heard that term, right? When we become laser focused, we aim at a specific target. You know, it's something that we're aiming at that is often at a great distance from us, but we look at it with great precision. With that laser focus, everything else becomes unimportant. It becomes irrelevant, becomes even a distraction. However, there's another kind of focus, and it's called microscopically focused. And it allows us to look at and into something with such depth that we see that which has previously been invisible to us. It's through this microscopic focus that the miraculous is revealed to us. We find ourselves in a state of awe and wonder at a new world that has opened up before us. Perception is shifted, and the infinitesimally small gives us an awareness of the infinite. It's this microscopic and infinite state that we use to respond to the world, well, like a child who's maybe finding a flower or a butterfly for the first time. Everything is just magical. The truth, the awe, the breathtaking beauty, that's not hidden from us. We have merely allowed ourselves to become distracted from it. You see, Terence McKenna once said, the future of humanity is us moving into our imagination. But let me remind you, let me awaken you to the reality that the doorway, the gateway, the entrance to imagination lies in our willingness to embrace curiosity. Therefore, we cannot drink from the infinite beauty of imagination without first stepping through that doorway of curiosity. In truth, what each of us calls our reality is nothing more than the expression, the manifestation of the limits or expanse of our imagination, facilitated by curiosity. So stay curious, my friend. Stay curious about your focus. Is it laser focus or is it microscopically focused? The choice is yours.